What's going on YouTube? It's Private KJ back with another video. Shot Callers Podcast back. We're going to be talking about Sunday's game, the 02-07-21 game. So if you enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss a beat, okay? Ladies, gentlemen, and ballers, it is day 19 or 20. 19, I believe. Bradley Beal's still a part of the Wizards. They did just suffer a big loss to the Hornets, but we will obviously get to that. We're going to be starting the second live stream on Sunday between 12 and 2. I will let you guys know throughout the week on more details. You guys really did pop off on the first stream, and I really appreciate that. 130 something views, I think the last time I checked, which was last night before I went to sleep, and I'm just grateful for that. I really appreciate that. We are almost at 100 subscribers, 10 more to go. We gained about 11 or 12 off that stream, so let's just keep this momentum going. Okay, I'm gonna be posting daily content at least 5 to 6 days a week. Depending on, as long as there's enough NBA games, I will be posting them, or if I'm just like not busy. There was a Derrick Rose trade to the Knicks, so if you guys want me to make a separate video on that, comment down below. I think I probably will, regardless, even if you don't say anything. I'm not sure how long it'll be because it's really not too much. I'll try and make it 10 minutes, but we will see. But with that said, let's get started into these slate of games. So we're first up going to be talking about on my Wizards versus the Hornets. Now this game I wasn't actually able to fully watch because I'm trying to balance and trying to watch not so many because there's only 5 games, but I'm trying to watch a bunch of games. But for the most of it that I did watch, once again, stems from poor defense, and poor defensive effort. Now, overall, you would think that the Wizards, by looking at the score, might have played better defense. No, I mean, the Hornets shot 41% from the three-point line. Okay, they shot 15 for 36 from three. Right then and there, that is an issue. Shout out to LaMelo Ball, 19, 7, and 5. Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and Cody Zeller stepped up big with great contributions from other teammates. Miles Bridges did have 11 and 14 as well. But, we're not here to talk about the Hornets. I already talked about them enough, actually a lot on this channel, how I really like the potential of this team moving forward. But I'm just going to kind of stick to the Wizards for a little bit before we move on here. Beal does show up with 31 because, he's the best scorer in the league right now. But no one else outside of really Robin Lopez really stepped up in any sort of way. And that's a little bit disappointing. Now, I think if Robin Lopez is your second, leading scorer on the team, that's a recipe for a loss. Westbrook had 12, 11, and 9, almost had a triple-double on poor efficiency again. Rui did not have a good game. Denny did not have a good game. So, yeah, that's really frustrating to see. And it's not even the fact that this team's so bad on defense. It's the fact that we should at least be an above average offense, in my opinion. Or we have the talent to be an above average offense, and we're just not that good on offense. And once again, that stems from Scott Brooks. Now, I'm not going to go on a rant here. I'm not going to talk about how bad the Wizards are. I'm just here to recap the games. Now, typically I do go on my rants, but I'm going to kind of keep this short. So we can kind of move on to the other games. But with that said, we have the Trailblazers. Oh no, never mind. I lied. That game was postponed. We have the Pacers versus the Jazz. This game was I actually really enjoyed watching this game. It was really just, in my opinion, 2 solid / good playoff teams. Just kind of this was just a well-rounded game, in my opinion. It was great defense. And just kind of who could come up with stops down the stretch in order to win the game. Now, the Jazz started out not exactly hitting the shots compared to Indy, who literally off the bat hit 4 straight 3-point shots. And I think that really shows for how talented the Jazz really are on both ends of the court, because the Pacers, for as much as they were hot in that first quarter, the Jazz were just right there with them. And then they sort of teetered off. The Jazz got enough stops. They kind of figured out a defensive game plan to kind of stop letting their wings get such open threes, and it worked. the Jazz kind of went on a run towards that third quarter, and it was pretty impressive to see. Donovan Mitchell had 27, 9, 11. Shout out to him for almost having a damn near triple-double. Bogdanovich, although he did not shoot well, 18 points. Rudy Gobert and Jordan Clarkson, the leading sixth man of the year. Shout out to them. They had a really good game. For the Pacers side, Malcolm Brogdon these past couple games hasn't been himself, but I still think he's been really good this year overall. Sabonis 20 and 9, Miles Turner, great defensive presence and good efficiency today. And Doug McDermott being back from injury, I think that's really helped him. He dropped 18. I think Jeremy Lamb is someone going completely under the radar who's been able to at least hold the fort down for them while T.J. Warren and Karis LeVert is out. And ever since I made my dark horse prediction, the Pacers just really haven't been the same. They're 12-12. I'm not saying they're bad or anything, but it's really unfortunate to see because if they had their full team healthy, I'm 100% positive that this would be a different story. Because when I made my prediction on the dark horse, at the time they had Victor Oladipo. This was before the Rockets trade. And that's really unfortunate to see because Victor Oladipo was playing really well this season. Now, I'm not saying Karis LeVert's as good as him, but I think the combination of T.J. Warren and LeVert is good enough, if not better, than just Victor Oladipo. Add to the fact that they now have Lamb back for off the bench scoring, Justin and Jrue Holiday, who are solid role players. Jakar Sampson, who's, he really hasn't done anything. Actually, I really can't even bring him up, but because he hasn't been playing backup big minutes. But it's fine. My overall point is I'm not sure if I can just give up on my dark horse contender as if they could possibly get to that conference finals if on a lucky type of series with a fully healthy team, and they just don't have that right now. So I can't exactly call them a dark horse anymore. But we are going to move on from the Heat to the Knicks, or from that game to the Heat and Knicks. I'm glad to see that the Heat are starting to pick up some wins now. This is another solid win. Now the Knicks are not a great team, but they have been better than advertised this year, of course. Bam Adebayo, Kendrick Nunn. Wow, I just said Chris Dunn. Kendrick Nunn, Kelly Olynyk, Tyler Hero all chipped in with great. Obviously Jimmy Butler. This is just a good win. I'm glad to see the Heat are starting to kind of get their players back and get their footing under them. In case you haven't known, I think I'm also going to drop a separate video on the Heat this season because I'm getting a little annoyed how everyone's just kind of writing Miami off as just like some fake contender last year, like it was a fluke. Do you guys not realize how much the Miami Heat have been screwed this year? Because think about this. They were coming off of a championship run, and due to COVID with the bubble, they only had they had the most shortened offseason in history. It was maybe a couple months or so. And as soon as they get back, they're hit with COVID and they're hit with injuries. So they haven't really had their full team back until recently, with barely any time off. Now, it's super unfortunate. And they're really banking on the fact that Tyler Hero growing is the kind of best way to get better because they lost Jay Crowder. It's not even just Jay Crowder, though. They lost a bunch of key pieces that really made that team who they were last year. And it's super unfortunate. So I just wish that people would cut them some slack. And I actually, right now, I'm calling it, they're my kind of dark horse contenders next year. Assuming they kind of keep the same core intact. And assuming they don't screw up free agency and kind of get some important pieces that they could use. So that's just sort of my little take on the Heat. But from the Knicks standpoint, Julius Randle has another monster game. Mitchell Robinson just solid defensive presence, even though he really couldn't hold Bam Adebayo. It's not like Bam really went off. Reggie Bullock, though, 21 points. R.J. Barrett, this was one of his bad shooting splits games. Same with Emmanuel Quickley, where some games they just don't really show up. They're young. We expect that, so it's not like a big deal, but this was one of those games where they just didn't really show up, and they kind of got boxed by the Miami Heat. Now, for the Celtics and Suns, for all my Celtics fans, you guys already know how I feel about the Celtics being overrated this season. And once again, Now, this kind of shows again as the Suns win by 9 points. Shout out to DeAndre Ayton for the double-double. Mikal Bridges, has a solid game. Devin Booker, damn near triple-double. Chris Paul shows his poise from the point guard position. And shout out to Cam Johnson with 17 points, so that was pretty impressive. But I think what kind of killed the Celtics was just the shooting. Like, they literally couldn't hit a shot. It happens. You move on from this game. It is what it is. Tatum with 23 points, but literally Tatum was the only one that really shot okay. And even so then, Tatum did not shoot well. He just shot good from three. Now, with that said, I don't believe Jaylen Brown. Let me recheck. Yep, Jaylen Brown did not play this game, so that kind of hurts. But this is starting to go and show. Kemba Walker, another bad performance and another poor shooting performance. And when Kemba Walker's not shooting well, I continue to say, he does not bring anything else to the table. He's not a great playmaker, and he's a terrible defender. And it's hard to trust Kemba Walker going forward if he doesn't bring that scoring punch, because you have to expect Kemba, with Marcus Smart out and with Jaylen Brown out, that he has to be that secondary scorer to kind of uplift that Celtics team. And he just, once again, was not. And that's very concerning for me. Now, Carson Edwards did get the start. I don't know why. I'm actually really confused because as much the Suns really only scored 100 points with a Carson Edwards, Kemba Walker starting lineup. That is shocking to me. But with that said, Jeff Teague, Peyton Pritchard, and Daniel Tice put in 10, 12, and 12. It is nice to see Pritchard back because I actually really like Peyton Pritchard moving forward. He's 100% better than Jeff Teague, because before the season started, I thought Jeff Teague was going to be a solid signing, but he just was not really that good. So yeah, that was kind of my take. There's really not much to say for the Suns. It was just a good win for the Suns. This wasn't a great shooting performance from both teams, but especially from Boston. So that's really all I have to say. I mean, it's hard to win when you can't make shots. No matter how good defensively you are, at the end of the day, if you don't make shots, you will not win. And it's just that plain and simple. Next up, though, we have the Kings and the Clippers. A shocking win, to say the least, for the Kings, and it was a great win. Now, in my podcast yesterday, I talked about how I think Luke Walton is the worst coach in the NBA. I still stand by that. But I might have to put Scott Brooks over him now at this point, because the Kings have won their 7 of their last 8. And that is going under the radar. Now, De'Aaron Fox chipped in 36 points. Buddy Hield chipped in 22 points on bad efficiency, might I add. But it is very interesting to see. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, my Rookie of the Year candidate, by the way. It's so cool to see that this Kings team is kind of picking it back up, because they are way too good of a team to just be a bottom feeder in the West. Now, like I said, 7 of their last 8, so they're not that anymore. But with that said, being the Clippers, this is just a great win for them. I'm going to stick to the Kings just for a little bit, because I really actually never really talk about the Kings. It's very interesting to see that Marvin Bagley continues to just be this average player, because it's like when his shot volume goes up, he just seems to, like, typically it's because he's inconsistent. It's like he doesn't really perform, but when the volume stays low, he's pretty efficient. So I'm kind of interested by that. Rashad Holmes, solid presence. Harrison Barnes continues to be one of the most underrated role players in the league. He's averaging like 17 to 18 points this season, 6.5 rebounds, and like almost 4 assists, and he just continues to just be good. People forget how good and how key he was in the Warriors run before KD got there. With that said, though, I still believe that Buddy Hield should be traded from the Kings. I don't think he's long-term whatsoever. I still am confused on the Hassan Whiteside signing. Still doesn't make sense to me to this day, but he only played 15 minutes a game, or 15 minutes this season. This game, I'm sorry. He only played 15 minutes this game, so that's good. He really just isn't a good player anymore. I'm not a Hassan Whiteside fan whatsoever. But for the Clippers standpoint, I saw a stat, and I made sure I checked the NBA Reddit. It's so funny. The Clippers are 7-6 this season, with games that they are what is it? If it's under a 10-point lead, they are 7-6 this year, and that is super concerning. Kawhi Leonard had 20 points. Lou Williams had 23. It's good to see Lou Williams kind of play more, because he really hasn't been playing all that much this season. Patrick Beverley still continues to be hurt. Paul George did not play this game. I just want to point that out. But it's really concerning to see because the same issues that the Clippers had last year still exist with this Clippers team this year, which is why I'm not picking them over the Lakers, and I'm never going to. And it's really concerning because you would think that under Ty Lue they would kind of fix that issue. They've improved on it, like good for them, but do we really trust them? Do we really trust Paul George and Kawhi Leonard after seeing what they did last year in the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below. That was kind of a mini thing I wanted to send the Clippers. If you guys want me to kind of make a separate video on that, I sure can. But with that said, that is going to conclude the slated videos. This was unscripted, by the way, so I was kind of all over the place. I understand that. But I had to pre-record this because I got work. So I just wanted to kind of make this somewhat quick. But tomorrow, though, that is going to be a scripted video because there is plenty of games to talk about. Monday, 08. The one I'm most excited to talk about, though, is definitely the Nuggets and the Bucks. I want to see where the Nuggets are at right now. But with that said, that'll conclude the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Really all I got to say. Private KG out.